Well, after a modest market debut just late last year in December, Nine Entertainment shares have passed that IPO price of $2.05. Brokers very quick to upgrade the stock as a result. UBS, indeed, adding it to its model portfolio. Initiation of coverage by Citi. They've put a buy on NEC. Morgan Stanley gone overweight. Macquarie outperform. What's the broadcaster doing coming ahead of the start, though, of the official ratings period next month? Mediaweek editor and publisher James Manning here with all the details. Warm welcome to you. Lots to play for, there always is, in the free-to-air space.
Sure. With
Nine, with its news hour, is this going to be a game changer, or are there other factors at play?
Well, I think it is. I mean, it comes off the back. They've had a great summer with the cricket. You know, the cricket couldn't have performed better for them. They've had the second biggest cricket audiences ever. So it's just done fantastically well. But yeah, it doesn't sound a huge deal, just extending your news by 1 hour, but it's a massive game changer in terms of prime time scheduling. You know, it pushes back their whole schedule half an hour, so that really impacts on your evening share, those percentage that advertisers buy on. And it puts a lot of pressure on the other networks. You know, they have to decide what they're going to do. Do they want to counter the move, so they'll have an equal program up against it? You know, so it's really put Seven in a corner. Seven's
already got a kind of a very US style, you know, I suppose, entree to its bulletin, hasn't it? Is that the early signs that it's about to unveil something even bigger, i.e. that touted scrapping of Today Tonight?
Yeah, I think that'll probably ultimately happen. I mean, it's got a nice new news theme, so it'd be a nice time to stretch your news out. That's right. I guess.
The gongs and all the rest of it. It is quite, you know, I don't know, presidential, but what do you make of it?
Yeah, no, it's nice. I mean, any little change is nice, but it's ironic that a year ago, Seven were the ones that were toying with, you know, going to the hour news. Yes. They backed off and thought, nah, look, we'll keep Today Tonight, you know. So that's a decision Seven's still got to make. I think it'll go to board level, because it's a pretty big deal. Sure. But then you can imagine the board members sitting around the table looking at the ratings and going, you know, you want us to axe Today Tonight, you know, and here is a show in the top 5 virtually every night. It's a hard decision to get your head around, really.
It does, if anything, give them a point of difference, then again, does it not? To retain it, to at least be able to promote something so-called, you know, hard-hitting?
Well, that's it, yeah. I mean, it's not a terrible disaster if they decide to keep it, because it's still quite a, you know, there's a lot of life left in that program. Yeah. And it's still massive, particularly in Adelaide and Perth, smaller markets where Nine's really trying hard to get a foothold in. Okay. And do they really want to give up that show there? Probably not. So it's a tough decision for Seven to make.
Well, 10 made some tough decisions. It was forced into a corner, and it looks like some of them are starting to pay off. Walk me through momentum for this stock and what they might expect from them.
Yeah, well, the good news for them has been cricket as well. Big Bash League has been the impetus to get their sort of ratings moving again. You know, it's come at a good time for them. Start of a new year. The first full year that Hamish McLennan will be in charge. He's been sort of moving the chess pieces, if you like, getting ready for 2014. And that Big Bash League's done very well for him. He's called it the deal of the century. I don't know if that's, you know, might be overhyping it just a tad, but it's got them back on the radar a little bit, which is they really had to do.
2 steps forward with that, but then from a early morning programming perspective, are they 2 steps back by losing Adam Boland?
Yeah, look, that's not good. That's not a good outcome for the networks, not a good outcome for Adam. Nice. His health sort of got the better of him there. He said this morning, look, he feels like he's let 10 down, but he said, look, it's great they're going to let me go and focus on my health. They've brought in Steve Woods, an ex-Today Show from who ran the Today Show at Channel 9 for about close to a decade, I think. Breakfast TV people aren't easy to find. It's a pretty narrow speciality, you know, to get your head around. So, yeah, they've still got a lot of work to do there.
It's punishing, is it not, as well, just in terms of the body clock? It can't be kind.
No, but I guess as long as it's not costing them too much, they can maybe afford to dabble there a bit more, because it doesn't really affect your numbers a lot in terms of revenues.
Speaking of numbers, are they actually even on the... Are they moving the needle at all with the way they're rating?
Well, they are, yeah. The Big Bash League has definitely got them a few points up,
but
especially over the summer.
Breakfast.
Oh, no, breakfast hasn't really...
I mean, how long do they persist? Are you hearing...
Well, what they say, it's been about 3 months now. The Studio 10 part of the strategy, which is 8:30 through to 11. That's doing a lot better than Wake Up is doing in the breakfast. Look, you'd give it probably another 3 months at least, I guess. You've gone this far down the track. So you've got a new leader in there, and yeah, just see what happens.
Let's talk about, moving into some of the new shows as well. If you've been watching the tennis, every single ad break has been for MKR. Is there a danger that you can overflog something and actually turn people off?
Yeah, well, I did discuss that with some 7 people actually before the summer started. And you do hear a lot of people complain, look, I've seen this too much. Maybe, I feel like I've seen the show already. Yeah. It's like when you go to a movie and you see the movie trailer again and again, you think, look, I've seen this film. Yeah. But then again, do you ask that of people selling cans of soup and stuff like that, Right. They'd say, you're crazy, what, we're running too many ads. So, yeah, I think the short answer is no, you can't really emphasise something
then again,
much.
Campbell's have got cream of mushroom, vegetable, chicken, noodles. I mean, not the same with just a one show. What else are they going to offer us? It's got to be more than MKR, isn't it?
Yeah. There's the In Excess special, Never Tear Us Apart. Right. That's getting great reviews. That'll be a 2-part special. They haven't released a time for that yet, but you could guess the first Sunday of Survey, which is sort of mid-February. Then the following Sunday they'll show part 2. So they've got lots of goodies, coming later in the year. But yeah, look, up until Easter, their schedule's very dependent on MKR.
Well, very dependent KIIS FM on Kyle and Jackie O. Reports of old fans being phoned up asking to ring the station as if it's almost in desperation. Have you been hearing that?
Well, I did hear a rumour about that. I haven't seen the report, but it's interesting. But I think it's probably something all stations maintain logs of their most regular callers. And I guess if there's a quiet call topic, you might expect a few of them to ring in, I guess. And so, but I'm not sure if they've taken, they're ringing their regular callers from the old mix as it was, or it's the Today FM people, or...
Presumably it's too soon to tell after less than a week as to, you've got to let the dust settle before you'll declare a winner or a loser. But what are initial reports saying? Well,
I think KIIS FM, as it is now, part of the Australian Radio Network, done a great job replicating Kyle and Jackie O program that they had at Today FM for Southern Cross Stereo, because it's in theory it should be easy taking something and building it again, but they only had a month, and there was a bit of magic in that show, and they do seem to have recaptured some of it.
Because what's really changed? A different studio, and that's about it.
Yeah, well, it's the production team. Okay. They've lost half of their production people, so I think that's quite key to it. But still, yeah. But they've done a good job. But there's a long way to go. You've got to. Day 1 was great. Day 2 was pretty good. Day 3, not so great. So you've got to keep that level up there to keep those listeners. So there's still a long way to go, and then you've got your whole first radio survey to go through, and we won't get those figures till March 11.
Have you ever known a time when there has been such kind of revolving door syndrome to radio as there is now? Walk me through other developments with Fairfax's former editorial director.
Because everyone talks about FM and they ignore what's happening in AM band. Let's remember AM's the market leader. Alan Jones has more listeners than any of the FM programs, which get all the press. Yes. Alan Jones only gets written about when he makes a mistake.
Very true.
But the 2UE, owned by Fairfax, they want to take him on again. They tried several times with little success so far. The latest, they've moved their editorial director, Garry Linnell. Former, he's worked in television. He ran 9 News for a while. He's edited the Daily Telegraph. He's been running Fairfax editorial.
He's got his finger on the pulse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So if anybody could maybe give it a crack, it's him. But then again, he's never worked in radio before, so it's a new world to him. He's going to try and keep his day job at Fairfax as well. Yeah. So it'll be very interesting to see
how long do they normally give these new kids on the block?
Well, the official spin is could take 2 years.
Right.
But
we all know what that means.
True,
what, 2 months? No,
probably 6 months. You'll get a feel how it's going. I mean, the first couple of surveys will give you a good feel, but really it's probably neat. And we've got new methodology in the ratings this year for radio, so that's going to be all a bit problematic as well. But at least mid-year you'll know how it's going.
Let's switch. Let's talk magazines. The Germans came to town not so long ago, bought up Bauer Media. Well, they are Bauer Media, but they bought up Nine's it was Consolidated Press, right?
$500 million, I think it was, wasn't it?
This is it. But it's a very saturated women's magazine market. Is there space for a new release?
Well, there's a bit of space because they've closed a few titles since they bought it.
Well,
so
wasn't that for good
there's
reason?
literally a bit of shelf space there, so those magazines could go. But no, it's a very risky business. They tried Elle magazine, was a pretty high-profile launch last year. The only one comment, and I think it was made on this program from the chief executive, he said, "Look, it's going, it's going okay," but which was sort of
code for
yeah, look, not great.
All right.
Okay, but they're persevering with it, and hopefully that might turn a corner this year. So to come up and do now, they're going with a fortnightly called Yours, aimed at I think women 55-ish plus. So we're talking Women's Weekly territory
and Women's Day and
and a fortnightly frequency. So it's a pretty big ask. There's an English edition, so they'll probably borrow heavily from that.
Are we going to see a price war like the English love to do?
Yeah, I don't think so. No one can afford that here. It's just,
really?
It's just way
economies of scale and all of that.
They might come out with a special, there'll be a special price offer or something like that for the first couple of months perhaps to establish the title, but I don't think people will be discounting up against it.
All right. Drum roll changes very recently at News Corp when it comes to not just domestically but over at Dow Jones as well.
Sure.
Let's talk the domestic shakeout first.
Yeah, look, a couple of new editorial appointments there. Andrew Holman's moved from the Hobart Mercury. Actually did a show from Hobart down last year inside his offices there. Right. Great guy, runs a good newspaper there. So he's going back to Adelaide to look after the Sunday Mail there. David Penbeth, he used to have that job, but he's become a radio jock. He's another newspaper person who's gone into talk radio. So he's doing breakfast radio at 5AA over there. And Matthew Dayton's got the job. What's he on? He's on the Mercury. Yeah, he's taken Holman's job on the Mercury. He's come from the Tally in Sydney.
Well, from males to females, let's talk Fox and that big kind of spoiler from CNBC over to Fox Business, and from my photo album to the small screen. There she is.
There you go.
I was in New York not that long ago. Happened to cross paths.
Looking, you're at the...
As you do. And that's one of our regulars, Kenny Polcari, doing his cross with Maria. Yes. So very soon to join Fox Business. Start date.
Yes, yeah, in February.
Start this week, in Feb?
Yep, absolutely. Right. She's going to be hosting a weekly program as well as some regular anchoring.
Yes.
It should be a good move because they've been trying to really get some traction, that channel in the US. It's been hard work so far, but a big signing like this could really bring a few listeners across because I think she had a very loyal fan base.
She's joining some big personalities, though, alongside in terms of accommodating delicate egos. Always a challenge.
Sure. Well, mate, you've done it well so far.
Look back in anger. All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Carson.
Have a good week.
Thank you.
See you soon. James Manning there, publisher and editor of Mediaweek, the show and the magazine together as one.